Is that time of year if you're thinking about buying or selling. We had our real estate folks on last week, and so you got that information. Now you need to know, is it time to refinance? What have we got here?
Roger Hutchins with Primary Residential Mortgage. He is the one that can answer all these questions. Roger, tell me why we should refinance, especially this time of year. Is it a good time for it?
Well, it certainly is. I first want to say good morning to you folks. I have missed you. I've not been by lately, but it is a great time to refinance. First off, interest rates over the last week or so have dipped back down, and they're really near those historic lows we've seen 4 years ago, but probably the lowest I've seen in a year and a half. But with spring approaching and past the New Year and holidays, this is a perfect time for folks to think about refinancing and looking at how they can benefit their family, whether it's budget-wise or saving interest and those type of items.
What are some triggers that would make people think, yes, I should be doing this right now?
Well, number one, if you have a rate that's close to 5, maybe high 4s to 5, you could probably save a point and a half or more depending on what term you go. So those folks are an easy fix. If you have some equity in your home and you're struggling financially, maybe budget, that's a trigger because you could look at maybe consolidating some debt and lowering your monthly budget, which then you can put some money back. And another one is if you've really had one of your New Year's resolutions is I want to get out of debt quicker. I want to have my house paid off when I retire. Well, a lot of folks will cut their term down. Maybe they owe 23, 24 years. They'll refinance down to a 15-year fixed rate loan. So those folks are really good triggers to give us a call. And also, if you need some work done to your house, maybe a heat pump starting to wear out or a new roof, getting that money cash out is a good trigger.
I've been in my house for 20 years, got 10 left. Since the rates are so low, is it worth it for me to do this, or should I just ride it out?
Well, you're one of the folks I'd sit down with and say, you really probably, unless your rate's astronomical, you're probably best just to hang tight.
Okay.
Because you're down to 10 years. And there's those times if someone calls us, it just doesn't make sense. We tell them up front, this is just not what you need to do at this point. And that way they can make a better decision for their family.
Well, what kind of products do you have as far as refinancing goes?
Well, we do have the conventional conforming products, which is your Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that most banks and lenders offer. But what our wheelhouse really is our government refinance products. We have FHA products that you can borrow up to 97.75% of the value. We have the great VA product for our veterans, which is one I'm really proud of, that you can actually borrow up to 100% of what your house is worth, consolidate debt, get cash out. And like I said, those are some of our most popular, along with Wanda's talked about reverse mortgages, is a very popular refinance product for senior citizens.
What kind of cash can we expect going into one of these?
Well, there are always closing costs when you do a long-term fixed rate mortgage. It's not a HELOC, it's not a home equity loan, but those costs are rolled in to the loan. So a lot of folks, they don't want to pull the trigger, they don't have any money in savings, they think it's going to cost them. But we're one of the few lenders that we don't require any upfront fees. Everything's included. We sit down with the homeowner and show them those costs and what's going to be rolled in to see what the benefits are. So you don't need any money to refinance.
I didn't know that. That's great, because I actually had a friend of mine ask me that. She said, well, I don't have the closing costs, I don't have this. Well, I didn't know that you guys rolled it in. Wow, what a benefit. And people don't know that unless they call you and ask you.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it surprises me that people don't realize that nobody, I mean, basically 99 out of 100 folks that refinance, they don't bring their closing costs to closing.
Because people are still stuck with the way that they did it 20 years ago. They're not up to speed with how they do it at Primary Residential Mortgage. That's why it's so important to give you a call or come in.
That's right, and it's always it's no commitment when you sit down and talk to us, and no cost to do that.
And what kind of, when they come in to sit down and talk to you, what kind of documentation should they bring?
Well, that's a good question, Morgan. And most folks that get into a purchase or refinance, they don't really understand how much goes into these loans. But normally you'll need your last 2 paycheck stubs, your last 2 years of income tax returns along with W-2s and stuff. So don't throw that stuff away.
Okay.
If you've been through like divorces, you'll need your final divorce papers. I've run into that here recently. That surprises me, a recent divorce and you don't have any copies. And your most recent 2 months bank statements. Those are the main items that any lender or bank will need if you're going in for a refinance.
All right, it's Primary Residential Mortgage. Give Roger a call, no charge, to talk and see if any of this is right for you.
Exactly.
Perfect.